Do these efforts at efficiency distract us from the purpose of the brand and create a lack of motivation? Good morning. Happy Friday. I'm Michelle Oliver. And on Friday mornings, I come and just share a little bit about what I've learned throughout the week from working in the experiential hospitality space. And today I'm particularly interested and curious as to how you relate to this comment that I just made. So yesterday, I find myself in a conversation with a gentleman who is currently a general manager at a beautiful hotel. He has a really strong history in working with purpose-driven brands, specifically in the health and wellness space. And every one of the staff that he had worked with in the past, he described as very intentional, very purposeful, highly motivated, very curious, constantly looking for the best ways that they could implement this knowledge of health and wellness and make true transformational differences in the guests' lives. And he spoke of just how much fun it was to be there, how creative they were, how quickly they would move on decisions that they made, and sometimes making mistakes because they did act in such a spontaneous fashion. And he was contrasting that to what he's doing now, which is working for a huge, very successful corporate brand. And he mentioned that 30% of the staff were not engaged. And so he said, I do ask myself, do these efforts at efficiency distract us from the purpose of the brand and create a lack of motivation? And I really, it just got me thinking about this when it comes to motivating staff, especially in regards to independent hotels or smaller glamping or RV resorts versus corporate chains. There's a crucial insight to keep in mind. And that is, I ran across this quote from Donald Miller that I thought was appropriate and I wanted to share with you. He captures it perfectly. People's internal desire to resolve a frustration is a greater motivator than their desire to solve an external problem. And if we keep this in mind, the internal frustrations drive people more than external problems, especially external problems that their boss is putting on them and revealing to them as a problem. So in independent hotels or smaller, privately held properties and businesses where the environment is often more personal and close knit, understanding what truly matters to your team can be an absolute game changer. Unlike in these corporate settings where the focus might be on metrics and standardized goals, independent hotels have this beautiful, unique opportunity to connect with employees on a much deeper level. And the real motivation for staff often comes from within, from their personal desires for growth, recognition, creativity, or in the case of this health and wellness retreats, to really make a difference in their guests' lives, to share their knowledge and their own passion to help other people. So what happens, I heard several examples of this yesterday, which was a little frustrating because I understand the need to drive, revenue through efficient operational practices. But what happens is, and I was talking to another friend of mine too, who went through this when corporate came in, and all of a sudden, the agency of the staff was compromised, okay? Because people start trying to motivate through policies that are very strict. And then the team, the staff interprets that as limitation or fear, or they're not being trusted all of a sudden. And they think the corporate or the new company or whatever thinks it will boost efficiency. But this kind of motivation, especially in a more intimate setting like an independent hotel or a smaller outdoor hospitality venue, it just doesn't work because fear, it might push people to act initially, but it kind of sucks the soul out of them. And in contrast, when you inspire through possibility by showing your team how they can grow, how they can contribute, how they can be recognized, and you give them, let you are controlling them less and giving them more freedom to initiate and to implement their ideas, you tap into their personal desires. And this leads to more committed, passionate team. So whether you're leading an independent hotel or managing a staff within a corporate structure, or you've got an RV resort or a glamping space, whatever it is, I'm curious how you are doing it. And I think it's so essential to keep in mind that the most powerful motivation comes from within. And when you connect with your team's internal motivations, you definitely will create a more engaged and motivated workforce. Staying true to the purpose of your brand. I'm so curious. Please share with me what you have encountered in your own journey and what has worked best for you. And I hope you have a beautiful